Yesterday's update for Battlefield 2042 brought a good amount of new content and one surprising feature that may end up being a key building block for Battlefield's future. Now, the new rework of Orbital is the most substantial redesign of a 2042 map that we've seen yet. Huge sections of the map have been totally remade, a new point of interest with a capture point has been added to the hilltops, cover has been added throughout the map, the runway leading up to the rocket is an actual place where you can gunfight instead of a coverless crossing of death. I think this is the kind of overhaul that many players have wanted but never really expected to get. Now, the surprise new feature is a persistent server system for Portal. Premium Battle Pass owners can now host one server that will stay online for 7 days after the last time a player was active on it. If you create a mode that seems interesting, it has a whole week to find an audience rather than just disappearing if no one wants to join for a few minutes. This also gives community leaders, clans, streamers, and other players an opportunity to actually build a community around their Portal modes. Now, browsing through the list of servers right after the patch, the browser is still dominated by XP farms and ultra-hardcore servers. We'll have to wait and see if persistent servers can make a real impact on what people are playing. It's still very new, and community building can take time. I hope we see some solid map rotation servers coming out that just play the greatest hit modes and stuff like that. Update 2.2 also includes 3 new vault weapons and some new weapon attachments. The ACWR, AKS-74U, and the MP12 Rex have all been added from the Battlefield 3 weapon lineup. I hopped into some bot matches to unlock them quickly. The ACWR is a weird one, and it's important to note that this is the Battlefield 3 ACWR and not the Battlefield 4 version. The ACWR was a significantly better gun in Battlefield 4 compared to BF3, and we're not getting the good version in 2042. This version has a 27-round magazine because Battlefield 3 was weird like that. In-game, the weapon has very low recoil, but some spread to keep it from being a laser beam. It's outclassed by just about every other assault rifle, and it lacks the customization of 2042's base weapons to help it fit a specific role. At the moment, I consider this one a throwaway addition as it's really just not competitive. The AKS-74U is in a similar situation as well. When compared to any other SMG, it's just lesser. Low rate of fire, bad recoil, it's outclassed very easily. Now, the Rex sidearm is a weird one. Traditionally, it's been a faster firing, more hipfire accurate revolver, and it seems like it could be that again for 2042, but it's hard to gauge sidearms without extensive testing, which I haven't been able to do yet. Generally speaking, now that we've gotten a bunch of these Portal weapons, I think they're starting to water down the experience of the base game. They all come into 2042 feeling out of place with their balance and purpose, and the total lack of 2042 attachments and skin unlocks just makes them feel like gimmicky nostalgia guns that aren't really worth using. I'd rather have a single vault weapon per season if it meant DICE did the work to balance it and give it a full complement of attachments and skins that could be unlocked versus what we're currently getting. It's a tough situation for the game, but I think DICE is wasting their time with vault guns since they aren't really putting in the work to make them feel like they belong. Now, there are some new attachments in the game as well. Some blue laser sights and underbarrel grenade launchers. They require specific types of kills to unlock them. The blue laser sight seems interesting in that they offer both better hipfire and improved accuracy. More testing is needed, but it's an interesting addition for sure. In terms of bug fixes, 2.2 addresses a lot of minor or rare issues. Most of the fixes are things that you probably wouldn't remember being an issue, so not much to talk about here, but the sheer volume of fixes is a good sign that DICE are digging in deep to polish the overall experience. One notable change is the update removed the ability to ride Casper's recon drone. YouTuber Stoda made a video showcasing how broken this was recently, so it's good news to see that it's been removed before it really gets out of hand. Unfortunately, the update introduced some crashes on PC. DICE are aware of these issues and are looking into fixes. On top of the 2.2 launch, DICE also gave us a new preview of the upcoming Specialist rework. It's scheduled to launch in the later half of Season 3. DICE are organizing all the specialists into the traditional 4-class system: Engineer, Support, Assault, and Recon. Crawford, Irish, and Rao are all getting tweaks to help fit them into their class roles. Classes will have unique loadouts with specific gadgets, but DICE aren't moving away from offering universal weapons. That said, each class will offer weapon proficiencies, such as being able to hold your breath for longer if you use a sniper rifle for the Recon class. This will encourage classes to use specific weapons, but they don't have to use them. The rework will also include new UI elements and a better system for picking your loadouts during a match. Instead of loadouts being unique to each specialist, they'll be specific to each class. So if you pick a support specialist, the other two supports will have the same loadout if you switch to one of them. The preview also lists which gadgets will be available to each class. It's broken down into 3 sections: class equipment, class gadgets, and throwables. Class equipment will always be equipped, and it's only available for this specific class. Assaults get self-heal med pens, engineers get repair tools, support gets the defibrillator, and recon gets the insertion beacon. These will have the biggest effect on the gameplay overall, since there will be a lot more repairing and a lot more insertion beacons. Then there's also multiple class gadgets for each class, but you can only pick one for your loadout. Assault will have access to smoke launchers, IBA armor plates, C5 explosives, and the M18 Claymore. Engineer will get access to the tank mines, the recoilless M5, the anti-air missile, the javelin rocket launcher, and the EOD bot. Support classes will get access to ammo crates, medical crates, smoke launchers, and the M18 Claymore. Recon will have access to the tugs, tracer dart gun, M18 Claymore, C5 explosives, proximity sensor, and SOFLAM designator. And finally, the throwables is limited to the game's existing grenades, with all classes getting the choice of either a frag grenade, smoke grenade, and incendiary grenade, and the assault class has additional access to the concussion grenade, while the other 3 get the EMP grenade instead. There's some additional changes coming to Crawford, Irish, and Rao. Crawford and Irish are switching classes. Crawford gets a repair tool and Irish will get the defibrillator. Irish also gets Crawford's cash point trait that replenishes gadget ammo when you revive another player. Crawford is getting a new trait that will likely improve his effectiveness when repairing vehicles. Rao's hacking ability is getting better UI indicators for other players, like a HUD marker that announces when a vehicle has been hacked. Right now, hacking a vehicle doesn't have any indicator that they've been hacked for other players aside from the pilot's UI glitching out and the vehicle being unable to fire weapons. This new UI indicator should make it a lot easier for players to prioritize hacked vehicles. Now, the downside to this massive class rework is that we simply won't be able to test it out until the later half of Season 3, which is basically a few months away. I'm still really looking forward to it, and I anticipate a lot of players coming back to test it out. Now, overall, the 2.2 update is quite substantial in that it brings another map to the better cover standards that players expect from the franchise, and the new persisting portal servers may start to transform the Battlefield portal experience. Sadly, the new vault weapons are starting to make me resent the whole vault weapon thing, and it's hard to consider it even new content at this point, given just the low effort DICE is putting into porting them over. I'm also a bit bummed out by the lack of breakthrough playlists for the new maps when they launch, and the fact that DICE is using the inferior 64 map progression versus what the 128 player maps offered. I think DICE should use the 128 player maps with the new 64 player server size so that we can get back to the mountaintop areas in Orbital, the base jumping on Breakaway, the park fight on Kaleidoscope, and the rural areas from Discarded. Some of my favorite gameplay sequences from 2042 were part of the 128 player breakthrough mode, and those just aren't in rotation anywhere anymore. And it seems like there isn't really a reason why we shouldn't be able to play those modes with 64 players. Now, of course, the upcoming Specialist rework looks like it'll appease a lot of players who want a more traditional class-based Battlefield experience, but it's still a ways off and will be released in the middle of Modern Warfare 2's multiplayer mega hits. Now, what do you guys think of the latest patch? I'd love to hear it in the comments, and if you guys want to check out some live reactions to Modern Warfare 2's campaign, check out this video here. The graphics are stunning, and some of the missions are quite good. Check it out, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching. This is Level Cap, signing off.